I was on Tottenham Marshes, near the reservoir, on business you don't need to know, and I came to a metal bridge over one of the streams there.
I'm sure very legal.
Now, this wasn't a place I went often, and I don't think I'd ever crossed that bridge before in my life, but there, lying in the center of it, was a small box. It was wrapped in brown paper and string, like an old-fashioned Christmas present. It had my name printed on it in clear letters. Lee Renold, for immediate consideration. Obviously, I was a little bit freaked out at this, but not as freaked out as when I opened it. Inside was a black...
I mean, I would already be very suspicious about a random package with my name on it, sitting on a bridge that I've never been to before. Like, I think, first of all, at this point, after doing the deed that he would have done if I was this guy, I would have gone back to Angela and be like, hey, yo, what's up, man? All right, like, you said you were going to do something, and it didn't happen. I took care of it. You know, what was the whole thing? Like, you setting up the situation for me to take care of it? Like, I'm just curious. You know, I want to know what was supposed to happen, or if what you did happen, and, you know, if like you helped me out, or what the deal is. But then seeing a package like that with my name on it, addressed to me on a bridge that I've never been in before, randomly, little suspect. What's going on, everybody? John Matrix here. Hope you're all having yourselves a lovely day wherever you're at and whenever you're watching this. We're going to be jumping into another episode of the Magnus Archives. We're checking out episode 14, Piecemeal. Links, as always, will be down below in the description to the Rusty Quill Podcast YouTube channel, the Magnus Archives playlist that is on their YouTube channel, and to their website. So please do me a favor, if you've been enjoying going through the Magnus Archives series as much as I have, be sure to go over to their YouTube channel, hit that sub button, give their videos a like, check out everything on their website. If you want to, you know, take your sport for them to the next level, check out any kind of membership stuff they got going on, sponsorship, Patreon, etc. Show them some love. They definitely deserve it. If you'd like to do the same for my channel, there is a join button underneath the video, as well as a link in the description to the YouTube membership benefits and tiers that I offer. So you can check those out if you'd like to. There's also, if you've been enjoying the Magnus Archives reactions, I have playlists for the SCP Foundation reactions, Warhammer 40k reactions, as well as Warhammer Fantasy, amongst other things. So if you want to check those out as well, they're up on the channel if you would like to do so. But I just appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to come in and hang out and watch the video. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, consider leaving a like and a sub, as it helps me and the channel grow. All right, all the shameless plugs done, all the YouTube stuff that YouTubers have to do. We're gonna jump into the video here. Again, this is episode 14, Piecemeal, from the Magnus Archives. Let me know if the audio is too quiet or too loud, etc. I've been having to like move it around lately.
Rusty Quill presents the Magnus Archives. Episode 14, Piecemeal.
Piecemeal. Oh, okay. Sweet. Oh, interesting. The intro always does hit different, for sure.
Statement of Lee Renold on the murder of his associate Paul Noriga. Original statement given May 29th, 2011. Audio recording by Jonathan Sims, head archivist of the Magnus Institute, London. Statement begins. Let's get one thing straight right off. This is not a goddamn confession, all right? If you go to the police with this, I will deny every word, and I know enough about the law to know that even if I spill my guts to you about all the horrible things I've done, it will count for nothing in court.
Okay. Guys coming in aggressive here.
You'll even be able to help me. My mate Hester said he came to you a few years back, been seeing ghosts and that, and
Interesting.
you guys looked into it and told him it was some sort of noise messing with his head, infrasound or something, and he's fine now. I need that. I need you to tell me that it's just coincidence and my mind playing tricks, and I need to not lose any more bits of me. So yeah, I killed that asshole Noriga.
Oh,
Stabbed him in the throat and left him to bleed out on the dockside.
we're just getting right into it here. This man's already like, I need you guys to convince me that what I'm seeing is not real. And, I need to stop losing bits and pieces of myself. By the way, yeah, I killed this guy. Straight up shanked him in the throat. Like, I did it.
Maybe that shocks you a bit, maybe not, but trust me when I say he had it coming. 8 years we worked together, and it was him that got carried away kicking McMullen's head in and moved it from assault to GBH. But sure enough, when we get picked up, he turns on me and I get pinned for it. 5 years I served because of him, while he walked free as you please. I'd say that I was due a bit of payback, and I certainly got it.
Sounds like it.
It wasn't my first choice, though. I'm not stupid, and parole keeps you on a short enough chain that slitting Noriga's throat was not my top priority. Don't get me wrong, it was something I'd been itching to do for 5 goddamn years, but I wasn't in a rush. I had plenty of time to arrange something nasty for him, and I wanted him hurt more than I felt I had to do the deed myself.
Talk about premeditation.
So when I got out in June last year, I bided my time and kept my ear to the ground. Tried to get in touch with him, but was told by the few friends we had in common that he wasn't interested in talking to me. He'd clearly done okay for himself in the years I'd been away and could afford some muscle to make sure I didn't bother him. I ended up with a couple of bruised ribs when I finally got tired of the runaround and tried to have it out with him properly. It was laying there, some grim side street in Lewisham of all places, that I came to the decision that if I was going to hurt this asshole, and I mean properly hurt him, I was going to have to think outside the box a bit. I decided to pay
This man sounds like he's going Frank Castle on this dude. He's gonna, like the scene from the movie, he's gonna sit there, tie him up, blindfold him, and do all kinds of nasty stuff here. This guy has definitely had some time, like he said, 5 years to think about this.
McMullen a visit. Before Noriga had gone to work on him, Toby McMullen was just some street punk. These days he was just a street punk who had trouble turning his neck. I've met plenty of born losers in my time. I mean, it's kind of a given in this business, but I've never met someone so intent on being a screw-up as McMullen. When I saw him, he was high as a kite and barely knew I was there. I bet his eyes lit up when I mentioned Paul Noriga. It took hours to get anything useful out of that waste of skin, but eventually I pieced together his side of this sorry tale. Noriga had paid him a visit in the hospital, apparently, before the police had picked us up, and promised that if he fingered me for the assault, then he'd have all of the narcotics his little junky heart could dream of. Only once he was out of hospital and my conviction had gone through, it wasn't 2 days before McMullen was out on his arse again, and Noriga didn't want to know. Any idiot could have seen it would play out that way, but not poor, stupid Toby. Still, he'd been itching to get the knife in for almost as long as I had, and he had had the freedom to plan it. So I asked him if he had anything I could use. I shouldn't have been surprised when he suggested magic. Toby had always been into all of that mystical crap, even before the drugs. And if there was some half-baked New Age fad going round, you could bet you'd find it dribbling out of his mouth whenever he was coherent enough to actually talk. I punched him in the gut and turned to leave. He followed me, doubled over and struggling for breath, begging me to help him. He said he was serious, said it wasn't like the other stuff, said he knew someone with real power who could put the hurt to Noriga, but he just didn't have the money. I should have kept walking.
Interesting.
I should have shaken him off. I should have beat him so bad.
So yeah, we've got some like freelance black magic, black market hitman or whatever that these guys are seeking out, huh? Already starting to get into the supernatural side of things, but obviously it seems like whatever they went through with doing with this person backfired.
He couldn't turn his neck the other way either. But I didn't. I stopped, and I listened to what that piece of human garbage had to say. I was an idiot. So Toby took me to see his friend Angela. He never gave me her second name. I asked him what it was, Wicca, voodoo, some crystal ball, but Toby said no, nothing like that. Said he didn't really know how it was supposed to work, but he had a girl a few months back had told him about Angela. Said she'd used her services on a particularly unpleasant ex-boyfriend. Apparently he'd disappeared, and they never found a body. So then I'm thinking maybe there's no magic there, just a killer with a shtick. But hey, if that was the case, it was fine by me, just as long as Noriga got done. When I finally met Angela, it was all I could do not to cave McMullen's head in. I'd just about convinced myself I was going to be meeting with a hardened killer, maybe one that kept a bunch of spooky Halloween crap around, but still someone who'd get the job done. I wasn't even put off when we pulled up to a well-kept suburban house in Bexley. When the door was answered by an old lady in a lilac dressing gown, I almost lost it. McMullen asked if she was Angela, speaking in a quiet voice, like he was actually scared of the geriatric fool. The old woman said yes, she was Angela, and asked us to come in. The house felt almost as old as its owner, faded floral print wallpaper, dark oak furniture, and threadbare carpets. The walls were covered with framed portraits, the sort you get in any cheap antique store or charity shop. Although as we went into the living room, I noticed something I didn't expect. They weren't paintings. They were jigsaw puzzles, each completed and framed.
Oh, we're getting into Saw now? You know, Jigsaw, Saw, Magnus Archives. Interesting.
And sure enough, when we sat down on the worn cloth sofa, there in front of Angela was another jigsaw, half finished. I've got no problem with the elderly, and if they want to throw away...
I would assume the jigsaws have something to do with the magic she does.
Their last year's putting together a damn picture, then I'm sure not going to stop them. But it wasn't exactly going to kill Noriga, was it? I was so angry at this massive waste of my time that when she offered us a cup of coffee, I almost put McMullen face first through the glass table in front of us.
This man has anger issues, brother. Like, calm down and at least listen to what she's got to say, you know what I mean? Like, what else are you going to do with your life right now?
I grunted something which Angela apparently took as a yes please, and so a few minutes later there I was drinking instant coffee from a chipped mug that this doddering old ass clearly hadn't thought to wipe the dust off of. When she asked if I wanted Paul Noriga dead, I nearly choked. She asked it very matter-of-factly, like it was a question on some form she knew the answer to but had to fill in anyway. I glanced at Toby, who nodded at me.
Interesting. I don't think anyone had mentioned the name of the person to her, right? Maybe they had and I didn't catch that. But yeah, that would already be kind of shocking to be like, oh, you want this person dead, and like actually name them.
And I thought, what the hell? I might as well play along. So I said yes. Yes, I did want him dead. And more than that, I wanted him to suffer. Angela smiled when I said that, a warm smile that suited her round face, and said that that wouldn't be a problem. I started to explain the situation, but she waved it away and told me that Toby had filled her in on all the details, and that there was just one thing she needed from me that he couldn't provide. I started to tell her that I wasn't paying for someone's grand to take out a hard case like Noriga, but she said no. She wasn't after money. She said that she was well compensated for the service she provided, and that all she needed from me was an object. Anything that I had taken from Noriga.
Okay, this is already like legitimately sounding like a deal with the devil kind of thing. Like she's not taking payment. She's already well compensated. Like I would already be like, I don't know about this one, right? Like this is starting to sound a little too good to be true. She says the person's name that I want to have off before I even mention it. You know, she like knows what's happening. and she's basically willing to say she's going to do it without any kind of like what we deem as like monetary or valuable payment. Little sus going on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not a gift, she said, staring into my eyes with a look that I recognized from years of working with very unpleasant people. It wouldn't work if it was a gift. At this point, I was starting to feel uneasy. Not scared, all right? I wasn't scared of this old woman, but being around her was bad. I don't know how else to say it. She was bad. You've got to understand, I know dangerous. I understand dangerous. Hell, I am dangerous.
He is the danger. He's the one that knocks.
But I wanted Paul Noriga dead so badly. 5 years ago, just before we'd been picked up by the police, I'd borrowed his lighter. It was a battered old Zippo. Used to have a picture of a topless woman on it, but now that was almost worn away.
Yeah, it's the type of thing you say when you are scared, right? I'm not scared. He's over there like peeing in a corner on himself, you know?
After he turned on me in questioning, I didn't feel much like returning it to the treacherous backstabber, so I held on to it. I hadn't thought much of it, but here it was, still in the pocket of my jacket all those years later. I handed it to Angela and she gave me that look again and told me that it would work just fine. And then we left. Angela told us not to worry about it, that Paul Noriga wasn't going to be bothering us for much longer. We just had to wait until she was finished.
Interesting.
Finished with what exactly she didn't say. She didn't need to. We knew whatever it was, we were probably better off not knowing.
Yep.
The waiting came hard, though. After he'd had me roughed up, it seemed like Noriga had decided I wasn't worth worrying about. I'd see him walking those streets like he owned them, his pair of leg breakers in tow, and I knew there was nothing that I could do about it. He knew it too. So I waited. And I waited. I waited for the shot, or the knife, or the poison, or the whatever would end him for good. It never came. Days turned into weeks, and there he still was, as cocksure as ever. I was patient. God, I was patient. But after 3 weeks, I had almost written off that useless old bag as a time-wasting con job. I was going to give her one more week. Just one. But then something came up that I couldn't ignore. Word came down that Noriga was meeting someone at the docks, some fence by the name of Salesa. The man dealt mainly in stolen art and curios, valuable stuff, and was paranoid as hell, which meant Noriga was going to be there alone. It might have been a trap, sure, but I'd been sitting on my ass waiting for him to magically drop dead for so long that if there was even a chance it was on the level, I had to take it. Turns out it was true, and went off smoother than I could have hoped for. I found the warehouse a few hours before the meet and staked out a good spot. Then I waited. Salesa turned up first, a big Samoan guy with clothes.
Interesting. So, made a deal with this woman, Angela. She was going to take care of it. He waited for, what I think he said, 3 weeks, and seemingly nothing happened. And now it seems an opportunity's come up where he can take him out himself. So I wonder, is that like part of what she was providing? She providing that opportunity? Or is he going to interfere with what was supposed to happen, and it's going to end up backfiring on him in some kind of way?
Cropped hair, flanked by 4 men in dark suits, who carried a square wooden crate between them. They went into the warehouse, and sure enough, 5 minutes later, there he is, that snake. He was alone, and seemed to be limping slightly. He headed inside through the same door, leaving it unlocked. Perfect. There was no point me going in yet. I wasn't keen to get my head kicked in by Salesa's goons, so I just watched, my hand gripping the hilt of a combat knife I bought at an army surplus store I know is happy to sell off the books. It was almost an hour later that Salesa and his men left, still carrying that box. They didn't look happy, but I could have given it.
The Salesa person almost sounds like, I I don't think it's the same guy, right? But the dude, I think it's from episode 2, Do Not Open. The guy that had the coffin in his house. It almost sounds kind of similar to that in a way, right? Dude kind of appears with a couple of people, and there's a box there. You know, I don't think it's the same person because they mentioned his name, and the name Seleucid isn't like popping up in my brain, but it sounds similar. Like the name doesn't, but just what's happening sounds kind of similar.
Damn. As soon as they were round the corner, I headed inside as quietly as I could.
That's what it sounds like.
There he was.
It sounds like a situation where maybe he's part of some kind of group organization that does whatever that is.
Leaning up against a pile of bricks, smoking. I started to move towards him, but as I got near, he must have heard me and turned around. He started to say something about reconsidering and lowering the price when he realized I was not Thalassa. Then a look passed over the face of Paul Noriga that I will treasure forever. No matter what happens to me, the memory of that look of panicked terror will stay with me.
This guy definitely has some issues. I'm just gonna throw that out there, and he, needs to work some stuff out.
He turned to run, but whatever was wrong with his leg meant he tripped over the bricks instead. I grabbed.
So I wonder if that is the case. I wonder if it's a situation where maybe her magic set up the situation. He had a problem with his leg, right? Maybe something happened that injured him, and she kind of did some kind of bending of fate to make these events happen so that he could be in the right place in the right time to take the revenge that he wanted in the way that he wanted. And she made sure that, he was injured and, certain events happened in a certain way. I wonder if that's what's going on with the bargain he made with her, right?
Him by the collar.
It doesn't seem like it though, because she kind of said that she would take care of it. So maybe he just is impatient and is trying to speed up what she already set in motion.
My knife already out and dragged him up. I had always been the stronger of the two of us, and he knew he couldn't fight me. Holding up his hand, he begged me to wait, to listen. I noticed that his hand was missing a couple of fingers, old wounds that had long healed over, though I didn't remember seeing them before. It didn't matter. I could hear the blood pumping in my head, and nothing was going to stop me taking my revenge. He begged for mercy as I plunged the knife into him once, twice, 3 times, again and again and again. I stabbed that backstabber until, finally, I let him fall. He landed on the floor hard, dead weight, his head making a thick, cracking sound as it hit the bricks.
Okay.
And blood began to pool on the floor around his body. As the rage started to fade and my breathing returned to normal, I took a second to look over poor, dead Paul Noriga and saw something that seemed to have been knocked loose when his head hit the bricks. Picking it up, I saw it was a glass eye.
Oh.
I looked back at the corpse and sure enough, there was a gaping hole where his left eye should have been. When had that happened? He certainly had both eyes when we had worked together, and all 10 fingers as well.
Man, sounds like he's falling apart.
He also had all his teeth, where now I saw gaps all over that dead, smiling face. I shivered, though I don't know why. I won't go into detail about how I went about disposing of the body. Just trust me when I say that even if the cops did find any piece in Origa's corpse, they wouldn't be able to pin it on me. And life went on. His boys did
Sounds like he pulled a snatch and fed him to the pigs.
come looking for me when their boss didn't return, but I knew to lay low for a while, and soon enough they realized that if he...
Yeah, he sounds a little too happy about, the stabbing and the what's the word I'm looking for? The statement he's giving.
was gone, they weren't getting paid either way and moved on. And so I had my revenge. And that should have been the end of the story. But it wasn't. It was 5 days after I killed Noriga that I found the first package. I was on Tottenham Marshes near the reservoir on business you don't need to know, and I came to a metal bridge over one of the streams there.
I'm sure very legal.
Now, this wasn't a place I went often, and I don't think I'd ever crossed that bridge before in my life, but there, lying in the center of it, was a small box. It was wrapped in brown paper and string, like an old-fashioned Christmas present. It had my name printed on it in clear letters. Lee Renold, for immediate consideration. Obviously, I was a little bit freaked out at this, but not as freaked out as when I opened it. Inside was a black...
I mean, I would already be very suspicious about a random package with my name on it, sitting on a bridge that I've never been to before. Like, I think, first of all, at this point, after doing the deed that he would have done if I was this guy, I would have gone back to Angela and be like, hey, yo, what's up, man? All right, like, you said you were going to do something, and it didn't happen. I took care of it. You know, what was the whole thing? Like, you setting up the situation for me to take care of it? Like, I'm just curious. You know, I want to know what was supposed to happen, or if what you did happen, and, you know, if like you helped me out, or what the deal is. But then seeing a package like that with my name on it, addressed to me on a bridge that I've never been in before, randomly, little suspect.
Consideration. Obviously, I was a little bit freaked out at this, but not as freaked out as when I opened it. Inside was a black cardboard box, full of cotton wool, and a single severed finger. It was obviously some sort of threat. Some punk reckoned they could put a scare on me.
Clearly.
No chance. I threw the finger into one of the canals and set the box on fire before throwing it in a bin. I headed home quickly, keeping my attention all around me and my hand on my knife. I was so busy looking behind me I didn't see the hole in front of me, and I tripped. As I fell forward, I felt a hot pain in the hand that had been on my knife. You guessed it. Falling had caused the blade to slice clean through my little finger.
Yeah, you stabbed yourself in the hand.
I'm not too proud to admit that I screamed at this. I tore up my shirt trying to make a bandage to stop the bleeding, at least until I could get to a hospital. But as I began to wrap it up, I noticed that it wasn't actually bleeding. The wound was closed. It had healed, like it had happened years ago.
What?
I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do.
Is this man, did he like turn into a warlock and Angela's his patron now? Is that what's going on here? Like, what is this?
So I just went home.
Is Angela actually an old eldritch being, like, you know, and he agreed to become, like, she's his patron now, and like anyone he kills gives her power, and so she's like, you know, giving him a little juice, little extra help here, you know?
I wasn't getting my finger back, so I figured I could try to
Oh, yeah, and he lost a finger, and there was a finger in the box. That's also very interesting.
Deal with it after a decent night's sleep.
So was that supposed to be like a prediction? Was Angela like, here's a finger to replace the one that you just lost?
There was another
or
box
we're going to
in my
lose.
flat. Same as before. This one contained 2 toes. I tried to ignore it and keep my foot well away from any knives, but I was trying to adjust the settings on my flat screen when it fell off the wall, hit my right foot, and, well, have you figured it out yet? That was 2 weeks ago. Since then, I lost 4 more fingers to accidents, most of my toes. This eye I managed to put out on a goddamn fence post.
Okay.
I've lost count of the number of teeth gone, and believe me when I say that you don't want to know how I lost the hand.
Okay, I feel like it's a situation where, like, Angela had marked Noriega, or whatever that guy's name was. I'm so terrible with names. But she had marked him as, like, cursed, and as they fall apart, she, like, gains their essence, and then when he sped up the process and killed him, he, like, took the curse on himself unknowingly. And so now it's affecting him. I feel like that's what's happening.
Each time, a box wrapped in brown paper. Lee Renold, for immediate consideration.
Yeah, Norier was missing an eye, his leg was messed up, and he was missing teeth.
I've tried everything. Once I thought I managed to outsmart it. Spent the day in my bedroom, nothing sharp, no edges. I'd taken out everything except the mattress. It didn't matter. I woke the next morning with an agony in my foot far sharper than any knife could cut. And the big toe missing, just like the one I'd received the morning before. I knew it was Angela. Of course I did, I'm not thick. Whatever curse she'd laid on Noriga must have passed to me. I went over there, you know. Went to confront that old... And you know what happened? She let me in. She was nice, civil.
For real.
Offered me another cup of coffee. I told her where to stick it. Demanded, asked, begged her to stop whatever was happening to me. You know what she did? She shrugged. She just shrugged. Told me that some hungers are too strong to be denied, whatever the hell that means. So I went for her.
It's interesting, right? I want to rewind that. Did you guys catch that like static that was coming in when he was mentioning that?
Whatever was happening to me. You know what she did? She shrugged. She just shrugged. Told me that some hungers are too strong to be denied, whatever the hell that means.
When he mentioned the hunger, the static was at its peak. That's interesting. I have a feeling that means something, but what, I don't know.
So I went for her. I was gonna strangle the life out of that curse-flinging bag of bones. But as I reached for her, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I know that's how I lost the hand. I know I chewed it off.
Could be the curse, and when he's mentioning the hunger, it's like making itself more present.
I know I chewed it off. Look, it doesn't matter. I just need your help. I need this to stop. I don't know how, but this is your area, right? This is what you do. You look into this weird ghost crap, right? Well, this is the definition of weird ghost crap, and I need you to help me. I need you to save me from whatever is happening. I don't have much time. I got a box this morning, a few hours before I came here. It was a tongue. Statement ends. It doesn't look like this case was ever properly followed up. According to the supplementary notes, shortly after making his statement, Mr. Rentoul became violent towards Institute staff, and in the ensuing incident there was an accident. No details are given, but apparently it required Mr. Rentoul's hospitalization. I'm reminded of a somewhat tasteless joke about loose tongues. He did not return to the Institute afterwards, and his statement was archived. According to the arrest records Sasha uncovered, Mr. Rentoul was telling the truth about the somewhat checkered past of himself and his associate, Paul Noriga, with extensive files on both of them. The last listed interaction between the police and Mr. Noriga is 2 months before Mr. Rentoul's statement, and since then, no sign can be found of him in police records, or indeed anywhere else. I sent Martin to look into this Angela character. Not that I want him to get chopped up, of course, but someone had to. Apparently he spent 3 days looking into every woman named Angela in Bexley over the age of 50. He could not find anyone that matches the admittedly vague description given here, though he informs me that he had some very pleasant chats about jigsaws. Useless ass. Tim has done his best to try and hunt down Mr. Rentoul and see if we can contact him for a follow-up interview or evaluation. But it looks like he disappeared shortly after making this statement.
More than likely he's dead.
We were able to find his old landlord, though, who said that Mr. Rentoul vanished in early April of 2011, leaving many unpaid bills and no forwarding address.
Man's dead.
He said that when he had gone to clear out the flat, he'd been surprised to find that there was no furniture left. All that remained, he said, were hundreds and hundreds of small cardboard boxes.
All the little pieces of them.
Recording ends.
Interesting.
The Magnus Archives is a podcast distributed by rustyquill.com and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike International License. Today's episode was written and performed by Jonathan Sims. It was produced by Alexander J. Newell, Mike LeBeau, and Murray Porter, and directed by Alexander J. Newell. To comment on episodes, make donations, and view links, images, videos, and show notes, visit rustyquill.com. Rate and review us on iTunes, visit us on Facebook, tweet us on Twitter @The Rusty Quill, or email us at mail@rustyquill.com. Thanks for listening.
All right, well, there we go. That was episode number 14, Piecemeal. So, I mean, this one, for the most part, seemed fairly straightforward. You know, you had a criminal whose partner seemed to have betrayed him, right? And he sought revenge and ended up going to a woman named Angela, who knows who or what Angela really was. But she, you know, seemingly put a curse on, you know, the target and was causing them to essentially fall apart. And not wanting to wait for the problem to solve itself, took matters into his own hands and finished the job, and then the curse seemed to have applied to himself. I guess the one question that I would have, right, you know, what is it with the body parts being gifted them back in boxes, right? Like, what exactly is that supposed to be? Like a torment thing? Is that just Angela like tormenting the people with the curse? Or what does that mean? You know what I mean? Right? Like, it seems like that's just something like playful that she's doing to mess with people. Like, hey, you're gonna miss this finger. Hey, you're gonna lose these toes. There's nothing you can do about it. Oh, that tongue you like so much, that's what I'm gonna take next. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like, yeah. Angela got a job and she did it, not her fault. The statement was, I mean, it is true. She basically said, you don't have to worry about it anymore. She'll take care of it. And he could have just waited to let it happen, but obviously he didn't. I mean, I guess the question, I feel like the question he should have asked her, right, was like, is there someone else that I could find for you that I could apply this curse to and get it off me, instead of just being like, hey, you stupid old bitch, get this curse off me, blah, blah, blah. Like, being so combative about it. It's like, hey, help me help you. You know what I'm saying? Not like he's not a killer. He's already done, you know, killed several people. So it's like, what's one or two other people, you know, to get this curse off me so I live. You know what I'm saying? One thing you keep in mind is Sue says Angel is sending the bot. I mean, yeah. Like, I think the other guy that was there that Noriega was meeting with, he dropped a box off for him, right? So they could have been delivering boxes the same way. You know? Or maybe it was a situation, right, where maybe he also sought out Angela, and that's why, like, Angela knew his name and that he was a target, right? Maybe he did the same thing with Angela and he sought someone else to be done, you know, killed the same way, and then he also interfered. And like, maybe that's what happened originally, right? Like, I kind of want to re-listen to this one again, right? But didn't Noriega like actually was the one that killed the first person, and the dude giving the statement, I can't remember his name, was the one that just got fingered for it, and so he wanted revenge. So maybe it was a situation where like he had did the same thing, and it's like, this is how Angela like feeds on this, and that's why she doesn't need payment, because she knows it's going to be a cycle that keeps repeating itself that she keeps feeding on. Time to roll up. No kidding. Howard's my babe. Howard's this episode. Rack from me. This episode 15 or 16. I really the ringer screwed over the statement giver, but not in the details. So yeah, I don't know. I'm also curious. Like, it seems like the jigsaws have some other kind of meaning. Maybe that'll be something that in a future Magnus Archive episode will be revealed. But it seems like that was some kind of drop that you're supposed to pay attention to for some reason. You know, maybe she's like taking a piece of her victims and adds that to the jigsaw puzzle, and then that's what piece of them disappears or something, you know? I don't know. But another good episode. Magnus Archives keep getting better and better. Like I said, links will be down below in the description as always to the Magnus Archives playlist, the Rusty Quill Podcast YouTube channel, and to their website. So please, like I said, if you're new to the Magnus Archives like I am, if you enjoy these videos, please go over to their channel, like the videos of theirs, hit that sub button on their channel, check out their website, check out their Patreon, any kind of YouTube membership stuff they got going on, if you would like to give them some extra love and support. If you'd like to do the same for my channel, there was a join button underneath the video, as well as a link in the description to the YouTube membership benefits and tiers that I have to offer, so you can take a look at those if any of that would interest you. I also do reactions for the SCP Foundation, Warhammer 40k, and Warhammer Fantasy, and you know, stuff keeps expanding, so there's playlists for those if any of that would have any interest for you guys and you want to check those out. But regardless, thank you very much for watching the video of mine, especially if you're still here watching to the very end. It means a lot. I greatly appreciate your support. If you enjoyed it with my commentary and reaction, consider leaving a like and a sub, as it helps me and the channel grow. So thank you guys. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next one.